Imagine this scenario. You're browsing through YouTube after a long day of treacherous activities in your goon cave. Bear with me now, don't click off. And while looking through the next season of Isekai you probably won't watch, you see something special.
パンツを履かせなさい。
No, not that. Never mind. Lazarus is the second, new anime I've watched probably this entire year. And all it took was one reason. Shinichiro Watanabe, creator of Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, and Cowboy Bebop. Absolute giants and all-time Hall of Fame classics of anime. After seeing his name creating an anime in the big 2025, coupled with the fact that it's produced by Adult Swim, I had no choice but to watch. The year is 2052, and peace is prevalent across the globe solely thanks to a miracle drug created by renowned neuroscientist Dr. Skinner. Hapner, which works as a perfect painkiller, freeing the user from all pain and sickness, has become indispensable. Everyone across the globe has used Hapner, and after Hapner's creation, Dr. Skinner vanishes with no traces from family, friends, or colleagues. And 3 years later, he returns, stating that in 30 days, Hapner will mutate, killing everyone who has taken it. He alone has the cure, and to counteract this threat, a task force of badasses is put together to find him. I'm not always the biggest fan of the whole Suicide Squad trope, but I find it very well done here. Also, it's basically an intense action movie, not an anime. With how it's paced, produced, it feels like I watched more than 20 minutes an episode. And before I go any further with the story, I just have to talk about what Lazarus does best. The art and animation is probably the best thing Lazarus does. Watanabe brought me here, but the visuals definitely kept me. It doesn't look like anime. In typical Watanabe fashion, the people actually look like real people. The characters have different color skin, different face shapes, there's a ton of diversity. The cinematography is also really top tier. It's not Chainsaw Man, but it's still pretty good. Best I've seen in a while from anime. It's not vibrant like other Watanabe works, like Space Dandy, but this show revolves around a much more dystopian setting, so it's much more fitting, and it makes it much more impactful when vibrant colors are intentionally used. The chase scene in the opening episode, instantly sold me on this anime. The movement and the choreography are exceptionally well done. Where other shows like Black Clover struggle to make movements believable, the fluidity in this show is unparalleled and blends in perfectly with the crafted background, leaving you fully immersed. I'm not a big fan of CGI, but fuck me, this CGI car drifting is so cool. The unmatched fluidity is one thing, but the aesthetics are even more phenomenal. The backgrounds are caked with personality. The walls are washed with billboards, advertisements, graffiti, everything to suggest the fleeting society the story imposes on us. Buildings are painted with rust and dirt to showcase society's reluctance to take care of the environment in their new life or death, well, mostly death, situation. It's so well made. In the making of this video, I just started zooming in on random shots, and you can do that. Notice so many intricate details, like this billboard changes in the background. This mug has the show's name like Jimmy Fallon's mug does. There are brand names and cultural pieces inscribed on every wall and every piece of clothing. I tie my tea bags like this too. They drew the balls on this cat. Twice. It's little things, but when little things combine every episode, it becomes a habit that complements the show. It's the equivalent of stopping on a walk through the city and looking at the walls with writing, paint, debris, dirt. It feels like you're actually watching a film from another society many years into the future. Each new location gives us much new, intriguing information about this world. The environments feel lived in and realistic. It lives, breathes, sleeps, and eats. Where the animation falters, however, is in the character expressions. There's multiple scenes when the people aren't talking, they're stuck in the same neutral expression. Also, although old people low-key look alike, I thought like 6 different people were Skinner during the first few episodes, but I guess I'm kinda dumb too. I have a little more exposition saved for the story though, so let's just quickly touch on. The characters in Lazarus are generally likable. I don't remember a single character which was unintentionally unlikable or annoyed me, which I find a little rare in modern anime, mostly due to all the bullshit anime tropes. The main character, Axel, is a good example of a Spike-esque character. One of those witty, badass, I don't care, I'll just go kick everyone's asses type character. He's a real dude, bro. Holy shit, he just dunked on this dude's back. Anyways, he's a real dude, bro, which is one of my favorite genres of characters. Also, did I mention he fucking loves flipping? This doesn't appear as much in the latter part of the series, but in the early series, he can't do a punch without flipping into it. He's my favorite, except maybe her. He's Spike-esque though. Don't go into this series expecting him to be Spike. I'd say a good 90% of the gripes I've read people have with this character are because they're missing things Spike has. If I had to talk about all 5 MCs, it'd probably take forever, so I'll just talk about them as a whole. In general, the characters act realistically. Like, in this scene, this woman sees a cat, chases it, and it runs away. Have y'all ever walked anywhere with a woman? This is like 90% what they do. But despite the fact that these characters act pretty realistically, initially, we have no real reason to care about any of them, which is fine at the start, because that's exactly how these Suicide Squad-esque, we've made the best team out of you criminals type shows go. But they're a bit on the slow side with giving information. By episode 5, all I knew about Elena was that she's quiet, was apparently a really evil hacker in the past, and all I knew about Doug was that, actually, what do I know about Doug? They don't say much. They really try to sell the mysterious act, which is fine, but you can't do that with every single character. However, the likability of all the characters was enough to push the story forward, which fits the story it's representing. Lazarus has a pretty diverse cast, and what keeps you intrigued isn't supposed to be just their backgrounds, but how they blend together, interact, and learn how to interact with each other. But a large part of those negative attributes change around episode 7 and ongoing, which I'll talk extensively on later in the video. I found the music was good on its own, however, I feel like so many times it just didn't fit. Like this scene, we're in a very intense action scene, guns shooting, and they're trying to catch one of our leads on Skinner before they escape, and my immersion is broken by this fucking gay ass rape shit. And hey, one of the biggest failures in a good plan so far, and this is the music they play.
I'll bring the car around.
It sounds like a Skype call. However, I also found my appreciation for the music changing around episode 7, so stay tuned again.
What the hell is that?
Bro, is this DJ Toenail on the beat? Anyways, finally, back to the story. Personally, I enjoyed the Doomsday premise. Sometimes it was some Mission Impossible, action thriller, find the clues, travel around the world, fight bad guys, learn about our villain, etc, etc. And other times it was more episodic in nature. And I can understand if that fails to capture or interest you in the story it's trying to tell. This episodic storytelling can create an obstacle as it breaks the urgency of the show. That's another thing. Initially, there's really no sense of emergency. From anyone really. It would make sense if the Suicide Squad here didn't have any real sense of emergency, because they were all criminals doing obscene sentences. Like Axel even says here, if we don't find Skinner, I'll just rot in hell or whatever. But the regular people who have 30 days to live are just working their shitty jobs like normal. Like here, he even talks about everyone's busy schedules. Bro, you're all gonna die in 30 days. What busy schedules? Like I'm sure everyone could spare 30 minutes or something to stop everybody from dying. Later down the line, there's some more urgency shown, especially by the main characters. They actually start to grasp the severity. But for the side characters, I found myself saying, bro, no one would actually act like this in real life. There's 6 days left. What more favors could he possibly ask from you? Everyone talks like the world literally isn't ending in a couple days. The lack of urgency really drew people away, and the episodic nature didn't help that. However, halfway through, I think I began to see the reason for the episodic nature. They're trying to show us something. A world like this. How often do you see a world like this, not just in anime, but in fiction? There's something different. It's inviting yet intimidating. It's beautiful on the eyes, ears, and mind. And I'd love to see and learn more, and learn about how this new drug has influenced different communities. This change of mind happened around episode 7, which also revealed more to me. A lot has changed. I started to ask questions that seemed both intriguing and necessary, rather than questions imposed on me for the advancement of the plot. And the answers to those questions start to unfold, as do others we may have had. It feels like real progress is finally being made, and although I don't think it fit these scenes at all, the music somehow immersed me. My mind was telling me it wasn't fitting, but my body and ears itself had no choice but to render themselves tranquil to the soft notes of the piano. Episode 7 is definitely where things take a change. It feels like the series should have just started here. We also started to understand many more characters. I talked about character development being subpar, but that starts to shift now. We not only get questions and answers to represent the characters, but we gain a sense of feeling, seeing them experience the world as we know it, and finally come to terms with their impending doomsday, and what would happen if they don't find Skinner was quite appealing. This is the first episode where I clicked on the next episode button, not because I wanted to finish the series, but because I wanted to know what was next. In this episode, I could actually feel them, which is rare for any anime. The best episode of the series out of the first 7 for sure. It's not even close. Was it because of parkour or high action sequences, the plot moving forward, or the characters being fleshed out? No, it was just vibes. Pure vibes, which I don't know if that means anything to you, but it does to me. If you want a video describing the importance of vibes, I thought this video by Scamboli was pretty good, but there's much more to talk about right now. If you care, in my 20 seconds of scrolling, I couldn't find a single person saying something bad about this episode, which definitely hasn't happened before for the other 6. The quiet tone of this episode was not only welcoming, it was necessary. The music after episode 7, it's like my ears form a whole new appreciation for it. I didn't even skip the intro. Usually in episodes I would click off to write on the script, but starting from here I became so immersed that I would only write after episodes. From this episode forward, you can really tell that this was the turning point. That same music which was always unfitting and unnecessary is now cardinal to experiencing the journey of the characters. It also reveals to us that the action was never the issue. It was always the stakes. Now, instead of a fight in a world of people we don't care about, that have no urgency themselves, the lives of the people we just learned to appreciate are being put to the test. I became scared to lose a character in these episodes, post-episode 7, which is a stark contrast with the pre-episode 7 episodes, where there was no real sense of danger or urgency. Questions are also finally beginning to be answered. Oh, can I mention the choreography turns the fuck up here? The action stole the show. Even episode 9 didn't have very much relation to the main plot, but it was definitely for the better. They didn't break down anything complex, and there were no symbols that kept you on your feet like Heavenly Delusion. But the switches to the excellent action scenes and then to the more character-driven scenes kept me hooked. From here on out, it's exponential progress. New questions, new answers to old questions, new reasons to care, new characters. The story is tense just in the right areas. In episode 9, there's sort of an important plot twist, and let's just say some very important, interesting, intriguing characters, which I can guarantee will be key in the story all the way up to the end. But I've analyzed enough, and this show is supposed to end on episode 13, so I'll leave the final 5 up to your enjoyment. Also, as of recording this, only episode 11 is out, so I'm also waiting for the final 2. So what's my verdict? Lazarus isn't a bad show. It's good, and it's unreasonable to treat it like it's doing nothing right. If you've seen any review of this show, you'll notice how differently they talk about it than I do. I feel like any anime from a reputable author that hasn't made anything in a while gets super scrutinized. Just look at Platinum End. It was mid at most, definitely not great, but I had people questioning my intelligence just for saying I didn't set myself on fire when I watched it. Lazarus has flaws, but what it does well, it does extraordinary. If you're coming home tired from work or school and just want something that doesn't demand much attention, but still excites you and keeps you thinking about it later, Lazarus might be the right pick for you. The art style is visually appealing with sleek animation and an intriguing futuristic aesthetic. And although storytelling leaves some to be desired, the likable cast is enough to carry the show forward. Give the first episode a watch, and if that doesn't sell you, you're free to come back to this video, say fuck you, you were wrong. But I doubt you're gonna. That's it from me. It's been Jenkai. Leave a like, subscribe, a comment, If you didn't like this video, leave a hate comment, and maybe I'll see you guys next week.